The arena was alive with sound, a sea of voices rising in anger and fear. Thousands of alien faces glowed under the harsh lights, their eyes fixed on the center pit. There, bound by chains as thick as tree trunks, lay the beast. Its body was scarred, its breathing heavy. Each movement of its chest shook the ground, its eyes were closed. Yet even in silence, the beast inspired terror. For years the aliens had told stories of this monster, destroyer of ships, killer of crews, a demon from the dark edges of space, and now they had brought it here to die. The council stood above the pit, dressed in silver armor. Their voices boomed across the arena. The beast must be destroyed, they declared. The crowd screamed in agreement, their hands raised, demanding death. But one figure did not join the shouting. At the edge of the council, a lone human stood. His name was Captain Elias. He had traveled across the stars as a diplomat, sent to keep peace between species. Now he looked at the chained beast not with hate, but with something different, pity. Elias spoke, his voice steady but soft. "Why do you fear what you do not understand?" he asked. The crowd grew louder, mocking him. The aliens hissed and spat. They wanted blood, not questions. The council leader turned, his golden eyes burning. "Human, this is not your concern," he said. "The creature is guilty. It has spilled blood. It deserves no mercy." Elias did not look away. His heart pounded, but his gaze stayed locked on the beast. "Then let me see its guilt," he answered. "Let me look into its eyes before you end its life." A silence fell. The crowd was stunned. No one had ever asked to face the beast. No one wanted to see it closer. Yet Elias stepped down into the pit. His boots echoed against the metal floor. Each step felt heavier than the last. The beast stirred, its eyes opened slowly. They glowed faintly in the dark. Not wild, not blind with rage, but calm, curious. For a moment the arena seemed to vanish. Only Elias and the beast remained. The chains rattled as the creature raised its head. Its breath was deep, rumbling like thunder. The audience held its breath, waiting for the monster to attack. But it did not. The beast only looked. Elias felt a chill. He had expected fire and fury, but what he saw was something else. Pain, loneliness. The kind of silence that grows inside a prisoner forgotten for years. He lowered his voice. "What have they done to you?" he whispered. The beast's eyes flickered, almost like it understood. The council grew restless. "Enough," one of them shouted. "Step away before it kills you." But Elias did not move. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small canister of water. He placed it on the ground, sliding it gently toward the beast. The crowd gasped. Their fear turned into confusion. The beast looked at the canister, then at Elias slowly. With a motion so careful it seemed unnatural, it leaned forward. Its jaws opened, but instead of snapping or roaring, it touched the water, drinking. The sound of chains rattling echoed softly as it swallowed. The arena was frozen in shock for the first time. The beast had not been a monster. It had been thirsty. Elias stepped back, his heart raced, but his face stayed calm. He looked at the council. "You call this creature a demon," he said. "But I see a prisoner, a life bound in chains, a being that has been starved, beaten and silenced. Tell me, what kind of justice is this?" The alien shouted in anger. Some demanded Elias be punished. Others whispered nervously. Doubt had entered their hearts. The council leader raised his hand for silence. His voice cut through the air. "Human, you risk your life for nothing. The beast is guilty. Its crimes are written in blood tomorrow at dawn. It will die." The crowd cheered again. Louder than before, the arena thundered with their rage. But as Elias climbed back to the platform, he felt the beast's eyes following him. Not with hate, but with something deeper. A silent plea that night. In the cold halls of the alien city, Elias sat awake. His mind replayed the moment when the beast drank from his offering. He could not forget its eyes, eyes that were not savage but tired. Eyes that carried a truth the council refused to see. He whispered to himself, "This is not the end." And somewhere in the dark, behind iron walls and heavy chains, the beast lay still, its glowing eyes open, waiting, hoping. The prison chamber was cold, its walls carved from black stone. Shadows stretched across the floor, broken only by the faint blue glow of energy barriers. Behind them, the beast lay chained, its body pressed against the ground. Its breath came slow and heavy, but its eyes, those strange glowing eyes, remained open. Watching, Captain Elias entered quietly. The guard stepped aside with mocking grins. "Go ahead, human," one sneered. Say goodbye to your pet monster. Elias ignored them. His steps echoed softly as he moved closer to the cage. The beast did not roar, did not thrash, it only lifted its head and stared. Its gaze followed Elias like a shadow, silent, patient. Not wild, not broken, but waiting. Elias set down a small metal container. Inside was food, simple rations from his own supplies. The beast's nostrils flared. It smelled the offering, yet it did not move. Eat, Elias whispered. You need strength. But the beast remained still. Its eyes locked on him, glowing faintly like dying stars. The silence grew heavy, pressing against Elias's chest. It felt less like he was feeding an animal, and more like he was standing before a question he did not know how to answer. Hours passed. The guards laughed outside the chamber, saying the human wasted his time. When Elias left at last, the food untouched, he felt the sting of failure. Yet when he returned the next morning, the container was empty. The beast had eaten in the night. Elias allowed himself a faint smile. So you do trust me, he whispered. The beast's eyes blinked once, slow and deliberate, and though no words were spoken, Elias felt a strange understanding. Word spread quickly. The aliens began whispering in markets and corridors. The human is feeding the demon, they said. He is trying to tame it. Some laughed, some feared, but many began to wonder. If the monster could be calm with the human, what else was true about it? The council, however, was not amused. They summoned Elias. Their leader's voice was sharp. Your actions are dangerous, he said. You insult our laws by showing kindness to that creature. Elias answered calmly. What danger is there in offering food to the starving? If it were only a beast of rage, it would have torn me apart already. The council hissed in anger. Do not mistake silence for innocence, they warned. When dawn comes, its death will remind all worlds that order cannot be broken. But Elias returned to the chamber again that night. The guards muttered curses, but they did not stop him. He entered carrying both water and food. His hands trembled, for he knew he was risking more than reputation. He was risking his life. This time when he placed the food down, he did not step away. He sat cross-legged on the cold floor, only a few steps from the beast. The creature's breathing deepened, its eyes narrowing as if in thought. Slowly, carefully, it reached forward. Its claws scraped against the stone, and its jaws closed around the food. It did not lunge, it did not roar, it ate quietly, its glowing eyes never leaving Elias. In that moment, Elias felt something powerful. This was not hunger alone. This was trust being tested, fragile like glass. Hours passed, and Elias spoke in low tones, not knowing if the beast understood. They call you a killer, he said. They want your blood, but I see something else. I see loneliness, I see pain. Who are you truly? The beast tilted its head as if listening. Its silence felt more alive than words. Then the sound of footsteps shattered the moment. A shadow moved near the bars. One of the guards had returned with a hidden blade coated in black poison. He stepped forward with cruel eyes. Time to end this quietly, he whispered. Elias stood, fury rising in his chest. Stop! He shouted, but before the blade could fall, the beast moved. Chains snapped taut as the creature surged forward. Its body shielded Elias completely. The guard stumbled back in terror. His blade clattered to the floor for the first time. The beast had acted with violence, but not against the human. Against the threat, against the hand that sought to harm him. The other guards rushed in, dragging the attacker away. Elias stood frozen, heart racing. He turned slowly to look at the beast. Its chains rattled, but its eyes were calm. The beast had protected him. Elias whispered, voice shaking. You could have killed me, but you didn't. You saved me, the beast blinked again. Slow and deliberate. The silence between them grew deeper. No longer empty, but full of meaning. When Elias left the chamber that night, the rumors spread even faster now, they said. The demon defends the human. Some were horrified, but others were shaken. The walls of certainty had begun to crack. In the quiet of his quarters, Elias sat in darkness. He could still feel the weight of the beast's silent eyes. They had spoken without words. And their message was clear. This was no mindless monster. Somewhere in the shadows of the city, power shifted. A faction of aliens whispered in secret, angered by the humans' defiance. If the beast lived, their lives would crumble. They sharpened their knives and made new plans. And in its prison cell, the beast lay awake, its glowing eyes fixed on the door, waiting for the human to return. Not as an enemy, not as prey, but as something more. The alien city never truly slept. Its towers glowed with pale lights, its streets filled with whispers and suspicion. Yet one man walked those streets with purpose, Captain Elias. His thoughts burned like fire. The beast had shielded him from a blade, and that act refused to leave his mind. He could not ignore it. The council called the creature a killer. But killers do not protect. Monsters do not hesitate. Elias had seen its eyes. And in those silent depths he had found something the council feared: truth. That night he slipped into the council archives. The guards outside were few, confident no one would dare trespass inside. The air was heavy with dust and secrets. The records glowed faintly on crystal screens, rows upon rows of files stretching into shadows. Elias searched for reports of the attacks, the stories told across the galaxy, the records of ships torn apart, crews slaughtered, all blamed on the beast. At first the files matched the legends: burned metal, shredded hulls, blood without mercy. But the deeper he looked, the more cracks he found. The wounds on the ships were too precise. They came from plasma burns, not claws. The survivors' tales were not the same. Some said the beast flew through space like a storm. Others swore it walked among stars, their lies tangled like broken nets. Elias's pulse quickened. Someone had twisted the truth. Someone had built a myth and wrapped it around the beast like chains. He whispered to himself. This was no monster's work. Behind him, a shadow moved. Elias spun, his hand reaching for the small weapon at his belt. But it was only a young alien clerk, trembling, his eyes wide with fear. You should not be here, the clerk whispered. If they find you, you will vanish like the others. What others? Elias asked, his voice sharp. The clerk swallowed. Witnesses. People who said the beast was innocent, they disappeared. Their voices erased. His eyes darted around the room. Leave before you share their fate. Elias's jaw tightened. He nodded slowly. Thank you, he said. But his heart grew heavier. The council was not only blind, they were hiding something. The next day Elias returned to the prison chamber. The beast was waiting, its eyes glowing in the dim light. It watched him as though it already knew what he had learned. Elias placed food and water inside, but his voice carried a new weight. They lied, he said softly. They blamed you for crimes you did not commit. The beast tilted its head. Its chains clinked softly. Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice to a whisper. I will prove it, I swear it. As if in answer, the beast lowered its head. Its eyes closed for a brief moment. It was not surrender, it was trust, fragile but real. That night the danger came. The faction that feared Elias's discovery sent their hunters. Silent figures cloaked in black entered the prison chamber, blades coated in venom. Their orders were simple: kill the human and let the beast take the blame. But Elias was already inside, studying the beast's wounds. He heard the hiss of a blade in the dark. He turned, but too late. The hunters rushed forward. Chains rattled like thunder. The beast surged upward, its body slamming against the energy barrier. Sparks flew as the wall cracked under its strength. The hunters froze, fear flashing in their eyes. One lunged for Elias, but claws flashed before the blade could fall. The beast's chained arm swung, not to kill, but to block. Elias stumbled back, his heart racing. The chamber filled with chaos, guards shouting, alarms blaring. The hunters fled into the shadows. Leaving only silence behind, Elias stood trembling, the beast's body shielding him once more, its glowing eyes locked onto his, calm, steady, unafraid. You saved me again, Elias whispered. His voice shook, not from fear but from awe. Why? Why protect me? The beast blinked slowly. The silence between them grew deeper. Elias felt his chest tighten. He did not need words to understand. The creature was no enemy, it was a prisoner of lies. The next morning the council gathered in fury. They accused Elias of bringing chaos. They claimed the beast had tried to escape. But Elias stood tall. His voice rang clear. It is not the beast that hides in shadows. It is you, the crowd gasped. Whispers spread like fire. Doubt spread through alien hearts for the first time. People questioned the stories they had been told. The council leader's eyes burned with hatred. Careful, human, he hissed. Your tongue may be sharp, but it will not save you when the dawn comes. Elias did not answer. His mind was fixed on one thought. The beast had defended him twice, and truth was slipping through the cracks of lies. Somewhere in those records lay the proof that could free them both. That night Elias returned once more to the prison. He sat on the cold floor, only steps from the chained creature. his voice low, filled with determination. "They will kill you at dawn," he said, "unless I can prove what I know. Unless I can make them see." The beast lowered its head again. Its eyes glowing softly, Elias felt something stir within him. Not just duty, but loyalty. He was no longer a diplomat, no longer an outsider. He was the only friend the beast had left. The silence of the chamber wrapped around them both. But within that silence was a promise. Tomorrow would not be the end. Tomorrow would be the fight for truth. The arena returned, louder and more dangerous than before. 1,000 alien voices cried for blood. Their chants shook the walls like thunder. Above them, the council stood in silver armor, their faces hard with pride and fury, and in the center pit, chained but unbroken, the beast waited. Captain Elias walked forward. His steps heavy, the crowd spat at him, cursed him, called him traitor. Yet he did not stop. He carried no weapon, only truth. His heart beat like a drum. For today was the day the beast would either die, or the lies would be revealed. The council leader raised his voice. "This creature is guilty of endless slaughter," he declared. "Its crimes are written in blood today, before all eyes. Justice will be done." The crowd roared their agreement, but Elias stepped into the center, standing between the beast and the judgment of the arena. "You speak of blood," he shouted, his voice carrying through the noise. "But you hide the truth. I have seen the records. I have studied the wounds. The attacks were not the work of this creature. They were the work of machines, plasma burns, weapons, not claws." The arena fell into a strange silence. Only the beast's heavy breathing echoed. The crowd exchanged uncertain glances. Some hissed, some murmured. The seed of doubt had been planted. The council leader hissed with rage. "Lies," he spat. "Your words are weak, human. The proof is in the beast's nature. If it is not a monster, then let us see it face a test of blood." At his command, gates opened on the far side of the arena. From the shadows emerged smaller predators, sleek, vicious creatures bred only for killing. Their eyes burned red, their jaws dripped with hunger. The crowd screamed with excitement. Elias turned in horror. "This is not justice," he cried. "This is cruelty." But no one listened. The beasts rushed forward, their claws scratching the ground. The chained giant lifted its head. Its eyes glowed brighter than ever. It stood tall, muscles tightening as the predators circled. The crowd leaned forward, waiting for slaughter. They expected rage, they expected chaos. The first predator leapt, sharp teeth flashing. The beast moved fast, slamming it aside with a single strike, but it did not kill. It threw the creature away, leaving it stunned. The crowd gasped. The second predator lunged, claws reaching for Elias. The beast roared, chains snapping. It swung its body between the human and the danger. The predator crashed against its armored hide and fell. Another came, and another. The beast fought each one back, its strikes powerful. Yet controlled, it did not tear, it did not rip, it only defended. Its every movement screamed of restraint. The arena fell silent. The crowd that once demanded death now watched in awe. Their monster was not a monster. It was a protector. Elias's chest tightened. His eyes burned with emotion. He whispered so only the beast might hear. "You are more human than they are." The council leader slammed his staff. Furious. "Trickery," he shouted. "Deception, it is only saving itself. It knows death is near." But his voice no longer held the same power. Doubt spread through the crowd like fire through dry grass. One alien voice rose from the seats. "If it wished to kill, it would have," another shouted. "The human speaks truth, we were deceived." More voices followed. A storm of uncertainty and anger. Not at the beast, but at the council. The leader's golden eyes burned. He pointed at Elias. "You have poisoned their minds," he snarled. "You and this creature will both die at dawn." Elias stood tall. His voice cut through the noise. "No, it is not our death you fear. It is the truth. You built your power on lies, and now your lies crumble." The beast lowered its head slowly, breathing deep, its glowing eyes fixed on Elias, and in that silence between them a bond was sealed, a bond stronger than chains, stronger than fear. The predators lay defeated, whimpering at the edges of the arena. The crowd no longer cheered for blood. They whispered, they questioned, they doubted. The council had wanted proof of the beast's nature, and they had received it. Not a monster, but a guardian. As guards dragged Elias back toward the council platform, he glanced one last time at the chained giant. Their eyes met, and though no words were spoken, Elias knew what the beast was saying. You are not alone. That night the city trembled with whispers. Some said the beast must still die. Others said the council had lied for years. And in the shadows of power, the secret faction tightened its grip. They had failed to silence the truth, but they would not stop, and deep in the prison chamber, the beast rested, bruised but alive. Its silent eyes glowed in the dark, waiting for the human to return, waiting for the fight yet to come. The city was restless, its towers glowed with unease, its streets filled with whispers. Some aliens now doubted the council, some feared the beast less than before, and some feared the human more. Captain Elias had spoken words that cracked the walls of their lies, and cracks spread quickly, but in the shadows, a secret faction gathered, cloaked in darkness. Their leader slammed a clawed fist against the table. The human has turned the crowd, he hissed. If the beast lives, our power dies. We must silence him before the dawn. Plans were made. Assassins prepared. Their knives were dipped in poison. Their eyes burned with loyalty to corruption, and their whispers reached the highest corners of power. The beast was no longer their only enemy. Elias had joined it. Meanwhile, Elias walked the corridors of the alien stronghold, his body weary but his spirit burning. He had seen the truth. The beast was no monster. It was framed. The evidence was hidden. But he had found enough cracks to see through the council's mask. Still, he knew the fight was far from over. He entered the prison chamber again. The beast lifted its head slowly. Its glowing eyes followed him. Elias placed food and water as always, but his voice carried a sharper edge. They will come for us, he whispered. Not tomorrow, not in the arena, but tonight. They want silence more than justice. The beast blinked once, slow and steady, as though it understood. Elias sat down on the cold floor, his back against the wall. I don't know why you protect me, he said softly, but I swear I will protect you too if they want war. They will not find me unprepared outside. Shadows moved. Assassins slipped into the corridors, silent as smoke. Their eyes gleamed in the dark. Their blades thirsted for blood. The guards were bribed or blind, turning their faces away. Elias felt the shift in the air. The hairs on his neck rose. He stood quickly, his eyes scanning the shadows. The beast's chains rattled softly, warning him of danger. The first assassin struck from above, dropping like a hawk. Elias rolled aside, the blade sparking against stone. Another rushed from the side. His strike aimed straight at Elias's heart. But the beast surged forward, its body crashing against the barrier. Sparks exploded, the blow missed. The assassins cursed, "Kill him," one spat. Let the beast take the blame, they attacked again. Blades flashing, Elias fought with only a small weapon, striking where he could, dodging where he must. His breath came fast. His arms burned. He was no soldier, but desperation sharpened his every move. Then, with a sound like thunder, the beast tore at its chains. The barrier groaned under its weight. Sparks flew brighter. The assassins froze for a heartbeat, fear cutting through their resolve. They had seen the creature fight. They knew its strength. One turned his blade toward the beast. If it breaks free, we kill them both, he hissed. But before he could strike, Elias hurled himself forward, tackling the alien to the ground. The blade skidded across the floor. The beast roared, the sound shaking the chamber. Not of rage, but of warning. The assassins hesitated, their courage cracked. One fled into the shadows, then another. Only one remained, his hand trembling. This isn't over, he spat. Before vanishing into the night, silence returned. Elias stood panting, his body bruised, blood dripping from a shallow cut on his arm. He turned to the beast. The creature lowered its head, its eyes glowed softly. Not wild, not savage, but calm. You saved me again, Elias whispered, but this time, I saved you too. The beast blinked once, and in that silence a bond grew deeper. The next morning the city shook with rumors. Some whispered the council had sent assassins. Others claimed Elias staged the attack, but most began to wonder. Why did the beast protect him again and again? Why did the so-called monster shield a human at risk of its own life? The council, furious, summoned Elias before the people. Their leader roared. This human spreads chaos. He defies law. He corrupts our world with lies. But the crowd no longer roared in agreement. Their voices wavered. Their eyes filled with doubt. Elias stood firm. I defy lies, he shouted. I seek only truth. And the truth is this. The beast is not your enemy. It is your prisoner. And the real monsters are those who hide in shadow, those who kill to silence questions. The words struck deep. The crowd murmured louder, some shouted in agreement. Others called for more proof. The city was divided, but the council could feel their grip slipping. That night Elias returned once more to the prison. He placed food as always, but this time he did not sit far away. He stepped closer, almost within reach of the chained giant. His voice low, steady. They will try again. They will not stop until one of us is dead, but I will not let them win. I promise you that. The beast lowered its massive head, its glowing eyes fixed on him. In that silent gaze, Elias felt something powerful. Loyalty, trust, and something more. The beast was not only protecting him, it was choosing him, and far above, in the hidden chambers of power, the faction whispered with rage, "The human has turned the people. We cannot wait tomorrow. We end them both." The sun rose red over the alien city. Its light spread across towers and streets, casting long shadows. The day had come. The arena would open once more, but this time it was not a trial. It was an execution. The council demanded blood. The arena filled faster than ever. 10,000 voices thundered as one. Their chants rose high. Shaking the stone, banners waved, guards lined the walls. And the council sat upon their golden seats. Proud and burning with hate, at the center the beast stood chained, its body scarred, its breath heavy. Its eyes glowed faintly, fixed on the ground. But when Captain Elias entered the pit, the beast lifted its head. Its eyes locked onto him, calm, steady, unbroken. The council leader rose, his voice booming. "This is the last day for the demon. This is the last day for the human traitor. Before all of you they will die, and our order will stand unshaken." The crowd cheered. Though not all voices joined, doubt still lingered. Elias stood tall, his voice clear. "You call this justice, but I call it fear. You fear the truth. You fear what will happen if the lies are broken. That is why you demand this death," the council leader sneered. "Enough words, human, today you die." He raised his staff, and the gates opened. But this time, it was not predators that entered. From the gates rolled machines of war, towering constructs of steel. Their weapons glowed with deadly light. They were built for destruction. They were built for silence. The crowd gasped. This was no trial, this was slaughter. The council wanted to erase both the human and the beast in one stroke. The machines advanced, their steps shaking the ground. Elias's heart raced. He had no weapon strong enough to fight them. He turned to the beast, bound in chains. "If you ever break them now," he whispered. The beast roared, a sound that shook the arena to its bones. With one massive surge it tore against the chains, metal screamed, stone cracked. The crowd gasped as the first shackle shattered. Sparks flew as another chain broke, and then, with a final roar, the beast was free. It leapt forward, slamming into the first machine. Metal bent and gears snapped. The crowd screamed in shock. The so-called monster fought not against the people, but against the machines sent to kill them both. Elias dove aside as blasts of plasma scorched the ground. The beast's body shielded him. Its claws ripped into steel, tearing weapons apart. Sparks and fire rained across the arena. The council shouted in fury, "Kill them! Kill them both!" But the people saw the truth. Their eyes watched as the beast defended the human again. They saw it bleed. They saw it fight not with rage but with purpose. One machine struck hard, its arm smashing into the beast's side. Blood spilled. The beast roared in pain but did not fall. Instead, it crushed the machine beneath its weight. Another turned its weapon toward Elias. The blast charged with deadly light. Elias froze, but before it fired, the beast moved. Its massive body took the strike. The light burned against its flesh. Yet it stood tall, shielding the human completely. The crowd gasped. "Why?" Elias whispered, staring in disbelief. "Why save me again?" The beast only roared, slamming its claws into the machine. Breaking it apart, the arena became chaos. Smoke and fire filled the air. The last machine raised its weapon toward the council seats. Not toward the human, not toward the beast, but toward the very leaders who had commanded its attack. The crowd screamed as the weapon charged. But before it could fire, the beast hurled its body forward, tearing the machine apart with its bare claws. The explosion lit the sky. Smoke rolled over the arena. Silence followed when the smoke cleared. The beast stood bleeding, its body scarred, its breath heavy. Elias stood beside it, his face marked with ash. But his spirit unbroken, the crowd stared in awe. The council had promised a monster, but what they had seen was a protector. Elias raised his voice, shouting over the silence. This creature has saved me, it has saved you. It fights not for blood but for life. Who is the monster now, this beast? Or the ones who sent machines to kill us all? The crowd erupted, not with cheers for death, but with cries for truth. Some shouted Elias's name, others cried for justice. The council's power shook like glass ready to shatter. The leader roared, his golden eyes blazing. Silence them. Crush them. End this before it spreads. But his words no longer carried the same weight. The people had seen too much. Guards hesitated. Doubt filled their hearts. Some lowered their weapons, some even turned their eyes away. The truth was no longer hidden. It was alive in the arena. Alive in the blood and sacrifice they had just witnessed. The beast lowered its head, breathing hard. Its glowing eyes fixed on Elias. Elias stepped closer, placing a hand against its scarred hide. His voice was soft, trembling with emotion. You are no monster, you are my ally. My friend. The arena thundered with voices, not of hate, but of defiance. The council had wanted fear, but they had awakened hope. The beast was free, Elias stood unbroken. And the last arena had become the first battlefield for truth. Smoke drifted across the arena. The air smelled of burned metal and scorched stone. Thousands of alien eyes stared in silence. For the first time, the crowd did not scream for blood. They waited, they watched. The beast stood wounded, its massive body scarred and bleeding, yet it remained tall. Its glowing eyes fixed on the human beside it. Captain Elias placed a steady hand against its hide, feeling the rough scars. His heart pounded, but his voice was calm. You are not their monster, he whispered. You are proof of their lies. The council leader rose from his golden seat. His face twisted with fury. Enough of this madness, he roared. This human has poisoned your minds. This beast is a danger to all life. If we do not kill it now, it will destroy us all. But the crowd no longer obeyed so easily. Voices rose in defiance. It protected him, one shouted. It saved us, another cried. Doubt had become belief, and belief had become rebellion. Elias turned toward the council. His voice thundered across the arena. You call this justice, but we all saw the truth. The beast fought not for blood, but for life. It stood between me and death again and again. And when your machines threatened even you, it saved the city. Tell me, is that the act of a monster? The crowd roared with agreement. The council leader slammed his staff against the stone. Desperate lies, he shouted. Tricks. This human twists your hearts. Do not forget who rules you. Do not forget who holds power. But power was slipping. The people had seen too much. Guards lowered their weapons. Some turned their eyes away. Even some council members shifted uneasily. The silence of loyalty had broken. Elias stepped forward, his body weary but unbowed. The choice is clear, he declared. You can cling to fear or you can embrace truth. You can kill this creature or you can see it for what it is, a being that deserves life. Just as you do, the choice is not mine alone. It is yours. The council leader's golden eyes blazed. Then let it be chosen now, he snarled. He pointed at Elias. Choose, human, prove your loyalty to this council. Kill the beast yourself and live or refuse, and die with it. The arena froze, all eyes turned to Elias. The council had thrown the final trap. If he killed the beast, the lies would stand. If he refused, both would be slaughtered. Elias's heart pounded. He looked at the beast. Its glowing eyes were calm, silent, waiting. It did not beg. It did not resist. It only watched him as if saying, The choice is yours. Elias stepped closer. His hand brushed against the beast's rough skin. His voice lowered to a whisper. They want me to kill you, he said, but if I do, I kill the truth too. The beast blinked slowly. As though it understood, Elias turned back to the council. His voice rose like thunder. I will not kill it. I will not betray what I have seen. I will not trade truth for survival. If death is the price, then I will pay it. But hear me now. History will remember who the true monsters are. The arena erupted. The crowd roared not for death, but for justice. Free the beast, voices cried. End the lies. The thunder of their words shook the walls. The council leader screamed in rage. Silence them. Kill them all. But his orders faltered. Guards hesitated, some dropped their weapons. Others turned against their masters. The golden throne that once commanded fear now shook under rebellion. The faction that had plotted in shadows stepped forward. Their assassins drew blades, ready to cut Elias down. But before they could strike, the beast roared. Its massive body moved like a storm, sweeping the assassins aside. Chains shattered completely. The beast stood free. The council chamber descended into chaos. Cries, shouts, and the clash of steel filled the air. Yet through the storm, one truth burned brighter than all. The human and the beast stood side by side, not as enemies, but as allies. Elias raised his voice above the noise. This ends today. No more lies, no more chains. No more monsters made from fear, the beast bellowed. Its glowing eyes cut through smoke and fire. The crowd surged. Thousands stood against the council. The throne that once ruled through fear crumbled beneath the weight of truth. At last, the council leader fell silent. His golden staff broken, his eyes filled with rage and despair. You will regret this, human, he spat. You have doomed us all. But his voice was drowned by the roar of the people. Elias turned, his hand resting once more on the beast's scarred hide. His voice, soft now, meant only for it. They demanded your death, but your kindness has saved us all. They called you a monster, but today they saw what you truly are. The beast lowered its head, its glowing eyes soft. In that moment, the arena no longer felt like a place of chains and blood. It felt like the birthplace of something new, hope. The crowd cheered. Their voices rose not in fear, but in unity. The beast was free, Elias stood unbroken. And together they had turned judgment into justice. Above the smoke and fire, beneath the shattered banners, a new legend was born. Not of a monster, not of a demon, but of a bond between human and beast. A bond that proved kindness was stronger than fear, and truth stronger than lies, and so the tale ended. Not with chains, not with blood, but with choice, the human's choice, the beast's choice, the choice that would echo across stars forever.